welcome into the first episode of the Talkin Solutions with the Chesh podcast in the year 2022. That's right. Can you believe it? We are in the year 2022. It's crazy. I feel like it was the turn of the millennium not too long ago in 2000, but really that was 22 years ago. So such a long time, but I'm so happy to be back behind the mic and bringing back some more episodes of the Talkin Solutions podcast to you all in 2022. I'm really excited about some of the guests that I've got planned and some of the guests that I hope to get this year as an opportunity to share their solutions to some of society's problems with you so that we can get some optimism and some positivity going, and that we can see that the world is a good place, it's a positive place, and there's a lot of innovative people out there working to solve some of our problems. So I just want to take this episode to really just introduce what some of the changes that I've made are going to be going forward in 2022 and tease a little bit about our first guest, which that episode will be coming next week. That's right, next Wednesday. And then some structural changes as well with the podcast and some of the accounts and what you can expect coming forward, or going forward, I should say, into 2022. But first and foremost, I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season filled with joy and happiness and all of those great things. I hope you were able to spend some time with some friends and family. I know I was, and I'm grateful for that. I travel quite a lot. I live abroad and kind of live a bit of a nomadic lifestyle, which is great. But some of the negatives are, you're not around your family maybe as much as you'd like. So it's always an important time to spend with some family and friends. So I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season as well, and that the new year is starting off on the right foot. But first, let's get into it. First and foremost, so what you've seen over the course of the last 6 weeks or so since our last episode towards the end of November on the Instagram account, which is our primary source of communication, of course, on Facebook as well. Website coming soon. That is part of the plans here in 2022 as well. Potentially some blog writing going forward. All ideas that I hope are manifested here as the new year continues. But so what you've seen on Instagram is we've done a lot of some things. We've started a new thing, which is the startup of the week, essentially. And what that is basically a business that is providing some good solutions to society. So along the same themes. So what we did was highlight some of the companies that we did from the episodes of 2021, but also some people as well and companies that I would love to get on the podcast here in 2022. One of them will be on the podcast next week for our first episode, but we'll get into that in just a moment. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the Instagram and some of the changes that you might see on that front there. So what this account is going to do and what it's going to embody is it's going to embody the positivity, the optimism, and it's also going to provide some podcasting tips as well to fellow podcasters and things of that nature as well. The podcasting community is big, it's robust. Indie podcasters need to be supported, and people need tips. For me, I have a broadcasting background. Notice as I botched that word, broadcasting background. But it's something to me that I feel I can give some value to. So there'll be some podcasting tips and things of that nature sprinkled in to the Instagram account as well. And that's just another way for me to kind of give back to something that I think is, that I have some experience in, and that I think I can give back some quality tips for certain people that are just starting out or broadcasting and things of that nature as well, because it can be a little difficult when you're just sitting here talking to yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? Or if you have an interviewer, or if you're an interviewer and then you have an interviewee, of course there are some strategies there, but I won't bore you with those details. I want to just say that so that when you see that on the Instagram account, you can know what that is. And so we also are going to continue that social startup to watch. I think that's a really, really cool theme that we have going on, and it's an opportunity to really get to know and learn about these cool businesses that are providing such great solutions to some of society's problems as well, and an opportunity for me to maybe get them on the podcast so that we can learn more about them. So I encourage you to send me some messages, anything that can put me in front of some really cool entrepreneurs and things of that nature as well. So if you have a cool business that you're interested in, or a startup that you really like and that you think are doing some great things, please let me know. I'll hit them up and see if we can't get them on and learn more about their solution. Another thing that I plan to do on the Instagram account as well that we've already seen a little bit from this last month is to be a little bit more interactive with you guys, the audience and the guests. I want the show to be something that you guys look forward to and have some input in as well. So we had some stories and things of that nature and polls and quizzes, so I can kind of get some feedback from you all from some of the issues that we have going forward. I know that the economy was one in my poll that was surprisingly, at least to me, something that people were interested in, perhaps because, that hasn't been one that I have really talked too much about. Of course, we had the circular economy and the circular consumer in part of our episodes in 2021, but that was more about sustainability. So I'd be really fascinated as well to see if we can get somebody that's more economically centered about some of the policies going on and some ways that we can kind of enhance that from a financial, monetary perspective and kind of see where that goes in a conversation. So that's one thing that I'll be looking forward to. But the whole point of that is really to make sure that I'm trying to get you guys involved and that you guys are being involved. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what solutions you have, what ideas you have, and some topics that you want to learn more about, and some topics that you want to have an opportunity to provide or have an opportunity to learn about so that you can have some solutions to them as well. So that's one thing with the Instagram account that you can expect going forward into 2022. We've also changed the positive news. You can now get a daily dose of positive news Monday through Friday. We have Instagram stories, usually around 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then, of course, 4 o'clock British time and 5 o'clock Central European time. So that's something that we have going forward as well. And then we have a recap on Monday. That way we get to share more positive news and more optimism and more companies that are doing some really cool things and just people that are doing acts of kindness as well. So again, something important to me and something that I think is a nice thing to see first thing in the morning, right? I think it's quite nice when you wake up, go to your Instagram stories. Let's be honest, we all go to Instagram quite quickly on our phones in the morning. And then if you can get your daily dose of positivity and some good news stories, some good vibes to start your day, especially as you get that nutritious breakfast in. Oh yeah, that's a recipe for a solid start to the day. So we're going to continue with that as well. And then we're going to keep the theme of what we were doing with our guest prior. Of course, we'll have a teaser episode release as well on the Instagram. So that's basically it for the Instagram account. Of course, we're going to have some new ideas. You can keep looking at those reels and videos and things of that nature as well. We may even do some Instagram lives on the account, maybe some behind the scenes access. I want to just kind of expand on this podcast a little bit and provide some more features and benefits for everybody. You'll still get some productivity tips from me here and there, and some optimistic opportunities as well from the Instagram feed. So those are just some ideas and things that are changing on the Instagram account, what you can follow. Then, of course, I have plans for a website coming up this year and potentially some blog posts. So just kind of repurposing those episodes into some written blog posts. And then, of course, the videos over on YouTube. Now, in terms of some structural changes, there is going to be a little bit of a change, structurally speaking, to the podcast. We were doing one episode a week every Wednesday. I'm going to reduce that, and we are going to go down to 2 episodes a month, roughly maybe a third, depending on how the weeks line up, but it will alternate and go every other week. And the reason for that is it's just an opportunity for me to have a little bit more time to focus on some of the things that I'm doing in my life as well. This is a huge passion of mine. I love doing it. It's a lot of fun, and it's something that I truly, truly enjoy. And so for me personally, it gives me a little bit more opportunity to kind of get some quality guests that I want on, and also maybe provide a little bit of feedback for myself, but give me a little bit more time too on that front. I also own a services business and agency, a web and marketing, technology and marketing consultant. And so that requires a bit of my time as well. So I'm going to reduce this down. So it'll be every other week we will have an episode on this podcast for you. And again, same type of theme, same format. We're going to be interviewing entrepreneurs. You may hear me give my take here and there. I kind of liked what we did, and I got good feedback from you all when we did kind of that positive news roundup, if you will, and a lot of good news to share. It's just an episode basically talking about good news and thinking about companies that I want to highlight and things of that nature as well, to just kind of raise awareness around them. So that's something you might see going forward, a little bit more solo episodes as well. Those, of course, will be a little bit shorter than the interview format episodes with the entrepreneurs and whatnot. But again, that is just a change going forward from a structural format on this podcast. But super excited for some of the guests. I got some good ones lined up and really some interesting topics. Again, be interactive on the Instagram account. Go check it out. That's where I hear from y'all. Comment on the YouTube channel as well with anything that you have from the episodes or any follow-up questions or things of that nature. I hope to bring back some of the guests that we had in 2021 to get a progress update on 2022 and where their startups are going. I encourage you all, if this is the first episode that you're listening to go back, listen to some of those episodes and really learn about some of the topics that you're interested in. I've interviewed a wide array of topics and entrepreneurs as well, so there's a lot of value that you can get from some of those solutions, whether you want to learn about diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workforce and a solution that's going to help make that better from Chezzy, or whether or not you want to hear more about a circular economy from the circular consumer, or whether or not you want to hear about, getting fair wages for women that are creating artisan crafts and developing countries from the Largesse company, Manch platform, which is focusing on the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, which is obviously a major issue and something that we have to solve as we fight climate change, as things as well. And in terms of efficiency of how we are doing it, then Manch platform is something you want to follow. Atlas Prime is a wonderful company that's basically changing the way that we get energy and heat, and that is something that's going to propel us forward in climate change. So lots of really interesting things from last episodes, from last season, and that's not even we got fitness and application to reinvigorate the community of fitness online and applications and virtual training. So many cool things and whatnot. So I definitely encourage you to go back and listen to some of those episodes if you haven't. So I do want to tease next week's episode as well. We'll talk a little bit about what you can expect on that front now that we've kind of gone over some of the structural changes, some of the changes of the Instagram pages, and then, of course, some of the things that we want to see next year, or I should say this year, going forward, which includes, of course, the websites and blog, and then, of course, kind of more interactive features on the Instagram page, and then some kind of behind-the-scenes content, maybe some extra bonus content as well. So we'll see how that goes and whatnot as the year progresses. I mean, again, for me, I love this. I love being behind the mic, and more importantly, I love hearing about all these positive, awesome solutions of these people bringing some optimism into the world in a place where there's a lot of negativity out there. But there's a lot of people, for all those negativity and the problems that we have, there's a lot of people out there that are busting their tails to provide awesome solutions that are going to work and that are going to make the world a better place. And that's what I love most about this podcast. That's why I do it. It's a passion of mine. So definitely excited to see how it goes, and really grateful and happy for y'all that tune in on a regular basis. I see you. I see all the countries represented as well. I mean, I get random countries sometimes that I haven't even considered would listen to the podcast. I mean, I've had Thailand is up there. You've had Indonesia, England, Spain, Italy, Mexico, Colombia, the U.S., Canada, wonderful area, Japan. So, I mean, again, it's awesome to see the reach that this global, the global world that we have today, and how everything is so global and easily accessible. Podcasts are a beautiful thing. So happy to do that, and really grateful that everybody that tunes in and supports the podcast episodes and shares in my enthusiasm for some of these positive solutions as well. So I want to talk a little bit about what you can expect for next week's episode. The first one, so I know I said every other week, and so now I'm going to go back to back, which doesn't make any sense. Yes, I know, but let's be honest. You guys want to hear the first episode, the first interviewee of the 2022 year, and so I'm going to give it to you right after this episode the following week, and then after that we'll rotate into an every other week basis. But next week we have identity learning, and so this one is one that I am absolutely fascinated about. It's a problem that I never really, well, I shouldn't say it's a problem I never really knew. It's a solution that I didn't really think much about, and I'd be willing to guess that maybe y'all haven't thought much about it either, because identity learning helps families thrive. They provide accessible, diverse, and ethical adoption and foster care education, and that is a problem within the foster care system, right? Obviously, these are children we're talking about. There are hundreds and thousands of kids in the foster care system. I believe it was right around 500,000, maybe a little bit less in 2020. So again, these are really important issues surrounding the future of our economy, the future of our world, the future of our workforce, the future of our culture, the future of everything, is kids, it's children. And so it's enhancing their lives and also providing enhanced resources for foster care parents and then adoptive parents or parents that adopt. That's something that's great, especially with multiracial adoption. and things of that nature. I mean, it's cultural, it's learning, it's diversity. It's a fantastic weapon and tool. So that's identity learning. You're going to hear more about it next week. I just want to do a quick little teaser where we're going to sit down, or I should say I'm sitting down with the CEO, Isaac Etter, and he's a wonderful, wonderful guy doing some really great things, and he's already done some magnificent things in his young life and journey. So excited to share his story, and excited for you all to learn more about them and support them moving forward. And maybe you know somebody that's adopted, or maybe that you have friends that are thinking about adopting or foster care, or you have a direct link to whatever. He's the guy that you want to listen to. He's a guy that you want to hear about, and he's a guy that can really, really push these things forward to help provide a really great solution and enhance the lives of some of these children. So that's what we got going next week. Just wanted to give you a quick teaser. I don't want to make this episode too long, so I'm going to wrap it up now. Again, I just wanted to run through some of the changes that we have going forward on the Instagram account and some of the to-do lists I have for this year in terms of, website, blog, and product, or I shouldn't say product iteration. See, there it is. There's my services business on the side speaking into me. But features that I'm going to add to the podcast that is going to allow this to be a little bit more dynamic and robust as well. So just wanted to tune in and catch you all for the first time in 2022. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you, and look forward to interacting with you. Like I said, please send me a direct message. Comment, like, and interact, and let me hear what you want to hear. Let me hear about the topics you want to learn about, the people that you want to have on. Anything of that nature as well is really appreciative, and something that I really enjoy talking about. Positivity and people that are doing awesome things. These are the people that we should be getting behind and supporting. So let's do it. Let's have a great year in 2022. Let's start with these episodes. I don't have a plan set for the season, so you can just expect one every other Wednesday until an announcement might be made on that front. But for me, it's a passion of mine. I love doing it, and it's not something that I really need to set an exact time for, just so you can get a little bit inside the way that my mind works in terms of this podcast. So really looking forward to getting back to it next week with identity learning and learning more about what they do and learning more about their solutions. So super excited for that. And until next week, hope everybody has a wonderful week. Please tune in. Episodes, again, every other Wednesday will be released on all major platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well. And you can follow us on Instagram for sneak previews and extra bonus content on that front too as well. So again, everybody have a great week. It's so good to be back, and I look forward to speaking with you again next Wednesday with the CEO of Identity Learning, Mr. Isaac Etter. Until then, take care.